Great. Welcome back to another after school special. I'm Alan Whitehead from CESD Learning Services. And I'm going to be talking about a few topics today. The first one we'll start with is some advanced tips and tricks for Google Mail, Gmail. And then we'll talk about basically an introduction to the features of Google Calendar. And we'll talk a little bit about Google+. We've got a few people here with us, so they might have a few questions as we go. If you have any questions watching on the internet, if you're watching live, you can use the Q&A feature in the program you're watching through right now, the Hangouts on air. Or you can post a question in the discussion forum on the invite of the event. So if you have questions, you can post them online. If you're watching this afterwards, by all means, feel free to get in touch with me through email at alwhitehead@cesd73.ca. So we'll get started, and I'll share my screen with you. We'll start off with some of the advanced tricks for Gmail. So this is first of all in my Gmail view, and I tried to set my Gmail up kind of like it would be in the default when you first start using Gmail. So yours might look similar to this or it might not, but we'll go through all that. The first place I wanted to start is using this search bar on the top of your Gmail. And I think it's a great place to really advance, but I don't think enough people will take advantage of the search feature, and it's quite powerful in Gmail. So if you're looking for something just in general, you can type it in here, and it'll look all through your inbox, all through any folders or labels, as they're called in Gmail, and find it for you. It'll even look in your trash and your archive mail as well. So if I want to look up something from a specific person, start typing in their email address. Bring up any kind of possible matches, and select that, and it'll bring up all sorts of things from that person. If there's a certain word I think might have been in the email, so maybe like curriculum coordinators, you can see it doesn't autocomplete. I can look that up. Also within that, look up curriculum, you can see some labels I might have already. The little label symbol, which is like a folder, would show up in there as well. So the search feature is really nice for that. If you want to search and get a bit more specific, they have what are called advanced search operators. So one quick thing you can do is if you just Google advanced operators, you can find a page from Google Help, Gmail Help, that will show you all these advanced search operators. See them all listed here, and it tells you what they do. So if we try out a few in search, go back to my inbox, type in from, and if you put in just me, it'll search anything from you, your account. But if you're looking for something from a certain person, let's say like this one here, it'll search anything that was from that person. Another one is in, so you can search in a folder or label. I want to look up something in we have a tech folder, technical support, no messages in there, but it'll look it up for you. You can search the folder. There's another way you can do that as well, is if you go into a folder. So if I go into my learning services folder, and you can see in that search folder, it automatically, or search box, it automatically puts in the name of that environment, and I can start searching within that. So you can say within the label inbox learning services and start writing in what you're looking for. So it automatically fills in that search box as you go into your labels. So if I want to look for something I know is in my mentorship folder, and I click on that, it automatically creates that search operator in that folder, and then I can just label, and I can start writing in whatever it is within there that I'm looking for. I can say email. Okay. Like I said, there's quite a few different operators. You can see there's a huge list of them. You can get pretty advanced with them, so that's a good place to check out. These top ones are use a lot. From this person or to this person. You sent an email to someone you can't remember exactly what it was, you can look up based on who it is you sent it to. So with that in mind, using search as well, The next piece is setting up filters. So filters are handy for automatically managing your incoming and outgoing mail. So you can set those up using a search. You could say from anything specific address. And then you can use a little pull down on the right hand side of that search bar. And didn't actually make it for me. You can put in person or who it's from, to, or a subject, or even having the words in that. So if I say any emails that have the word math 8, or something like that, anything with the word math in it, I can then create a filter with whatever I put into this box by clicking that at the bottom, and I can tell it what to do. So far I'm saying from this address with these words in it, I can have it skip my inbox, which means I archive, or I can automatically, it's read, I could star it to say that it's very important from that person. I could automatically put it into a label, give a label to it. You can choose from all your labels. So if you say anything from this person automatically gets labeled as this. If you don't like that person, you could automatically delete it, mark it as important, categorize it. We'll look at categories in a minute. You create the filter. Again, to do that from the beginning, I just went, you could click on that pull down. I could say anything with the words math. And I didn't put a person's name, it could be anybody. Any email that has the word math in it will then create my filter to do one of these things with it. Another way to manage your filters is to go to your settings. It's cogwheel up here on the right, and go to settings. You'll have a tab along the top, and you can set up your own filters in here. So you can create a new filter. You click that, it just brings up the same box I was showing you from that search. You can edit or delete folders as well. What I have set up right now, so this is when anything from me that I've sent, automatically I have it into a label called replied, so that I know that I've replied to it. So that's the only ones that I have set up right now. To forwards as well. So anything from me with RE reply in the subject gets put in the replied folder or label. So that's a few things on filters, and we can manage them in here. The next thing, while we're in the settings section, I'd like to talk about your inbox. So I'll actually just go back for a minute. I'm going to set it to the default view and save that in my inbox. So it gives us a few things. It gives you some sections along the top. So you can see there's my primary inbox, social inbox would be basically anything from social media, promotions, so that's from companies oftentimes. You can see a whole lot of updates in my promotions box. Updates, so it kind of organizes it to settings, to inbox. That's the default view. If I go to important first and select that, it puts an important section at the top in your inbox. So anything that directly to you often is tagged automatically as important, and everything else is that. This little button here, the little arrow, it'll make that important. You should see in a second here, it should move that up into my other. Maybe if I refresh. Yeah, so you can see now that email, which was in the everything else, this was in everything else before, now click that off, it's moved it into the important. If I take that off, it should do the same, move it back down here to everything else. So you can kind of prioritize your own inbox and basically teach it to what you think is important. You will remember things that you check off. And if it comes to you from those people again, it'll automatically. So back to the inbox settings, So that's called important first. You can do unread first, which puts everything that you haven't read yet at the very top, everything else below. Once you read it, it gets marked as unread, it'll go down to the bottom. Starred first is to important. So instead of using this important marker, you can actually star select things. And again, the important part has kind of an algorithm that Google sets up, so it'll remember what you mark as important. Remember if it's sent from one person to you specifically, it's more likely to mark that as important. The star system is strictly based on what you saw. You have to give it a star. People won't assign a star. It's up to you. Star it first. So you can see a few that I've started to remember, and just use that to click it on and off. There's lots of inbox settings. The one that I like, my favorite, is using the priority inbox. And you can kind of use a few of those features that we just looked at. Once you select priority inbox, underneath it gives you a few sections. Input at the top. You can move these by selecting the options along the side. This kind of gives it an order of sorting. So I've got it set to put important and unread at the top. Starred at that. Anything unread as the third section, and then everything else goes to the bottom. So it kind of combines everything we were just looking at. So when we look at that, you can see that section along the top, important and unread. So that's important that Google assigns it, and it's not read yet. That's why it shows. Starred is next. I'm kind of saving these. I want them at the top of my inbox. Unread comes next. So I decide what I want to do with that, and then everything else that's been read, even if it's important, lumped together based on the time it was received. In that kind of fourth category. And you can play around with that in your settings as well. Feature with Gmail is the conversation view. And it seems like some people either love it or hate it with the conversation view. So right now, I have conversation view turned on. So in that, you can see the emails from people and the follow-up. So I can kind of toggle them, make them bigger or smaller. So there's two emails here, but I'm viewing them all together. If I want to turn conversation view on, go to settings. And just under general, you go down to conversation view. So that first tab under settings is general. You can see here you can turn conversation view off. We'll go down to the bottom and save it. Those emails show up as separate emails. They're not showing up together. So even though this one is reply, it won't show up. It'll show up kind of just below it automatically. They won't all be lumped together.
That's what's off.
That conversation view is off. Yeah, they'll look before it. Some people really like it though because it keeps all the emails together and they're all in one head. So it depends on what you like. Labs are the next thing. So labs are basically experimental features in Gmail. They're features that Google has added. There's nothing dangerous about them, even though they're called labs. But they're just ones they're trying out. They might be there forever, for a long time, or they might get them out and for some reason they might disappear one day. So they're called labs because you never know for sure. There might be one day they disappear. So to access labs, you go to settings again. And along the tabs along the top, it's the third from the right, labs. And to find a lab, you just search using the box at the top. Or you can scroll through and just browse ones that are in there already, the most popular. A few I want to highlight I have at the top here because these are the ones that I've enabled for my Gmail. There's 4 at the top that I like, or 5. One is this Google Calendar gadget. So if you wanted to find that one, you would just go into the search for a lab at the top of the lab section and type in the calendar. You can see it brings it up. To turn it on, you can see what it is, a little description here. To turn it on, you just click enable. So what Calendar gadget does is once it's turned on, which it is on mine right now, like it says, it adds a box on the left-hand column. So in this column on the left, this little 3 dots gadgets, when I click on that, because the calendar one is the only gadget I have on right now, it brings up a calendar view right in my Gmail and see what's coming up over the next few days. And there's some options you can change what shows up there as well. But it's a little mini calendar for that to be smaller or bigger. So that three little buttons. Once you turn it on, you'll see these three little dots on the left. Another one is Google Maps Preview and Mail. So if you get an address in a message to you, you'll be able to see it in Google Maps right in your message. Another great one is the preview pane. And again, if you're similar, you're most likely familiar with Outlook, this is a similar experience. Reading preview instead of having to open up the message itself, you can just show you a preview right within the same window. You turn that on. We'll go back to my inbox to show you what that looks like. So once you turn it on, you'll get a little toggle switch near the settings cog, and you can decide on how you want your preview pane to show up, a vertical split or a horizontal split. So if you do vertical, it'll show any previews right here. So I click on this one, you can see I get a little update right here. So I can read it all within the same place. If I turn that off, so no split, then to read a message, I have to go right into it. So just allow your mail a little bit easier. And there's the horizontal split. You can view it underneath. Okay, in settings, a couple more to look at. Another one is unread message. So when you add this, just search for unread message icon and enable it. In your tab in Chrome, you'll see this little mail setting or mail icon on your Gmail tab, and it'll show a number for how many unread mails are in your inbox. So I have none. So it just gives you an idea if you're working in another window, you can keep your eye on if you have any unread mail in your Gmail tab. So those are some interesting labs to check out. And again, these ones have been around since I started using Gmail about 6 months ago. So been around for a little while, I guess. So here, they're the kind of thing you have to just be aware they may do one day. So those are labs. Another thing to explore are Chrome extensions that work with Gmail. Extensions are like little programs that work within the Google Chrome browser. You have to be signed into the Chrome browser to get these. The way to sign in is through, when you're in the Chrome browser, these three little lines, hot dogs or pancakes, people call them. Go to settings in your Chrome browser, and that first section is to sign in. So I'm already signed in with my Chinook Edge account. I have all these extensions that show up right here. But I want to highlight a couple that work specifically with Gmail. Again, they're just little programs that run, once you have Chrome on, they just run automatically in the background, and they do some kind of neat things. The way you find them is if you go to the Google Store. If you've got the Chrome browser open, a quick way to get there is this apps button on your favorites bar, and go to the web. If you don't have that open, it's just the Chrome, you can just Google the Chrome store or Chrome web store. And then you can search here on the left. So the first Google extension is send from Gmail. So when you search for that, see the first things that come up are apps, something different. We want extensions. And it's this send from Gmail. You can see I added it. It says rate it, but it's a free extension. When you add it and then enable it, you'll get this little icon in the top beside the browser bar. It's a Gmail symbol with a little arrow. So what that does is if let's say I'm on Wikipedia and I'm looking at whatever this article here on Vernon Sturdy, and I want to email this to someone automatically. I don't have to take the link and go back to Gmail. I can just click on that extension, the Send from Gmail extension button, and it automatically opens up a compose window. So writing an email with the link in it and the name of the page, I just have to hit to, and that choose something to send. Now that's been sent off. So I've sent that link right to somebody without having to go back to my Gmail and copy and paste. It just does that. So it's kind of a little shortcut to send a link if you're browsing the internet, find something interesting you want to send, do it that way. Another one So that is send